Hi guys, this is Dr. Sadasivam once again with you. भाई आज हम 2023 का फ्यूचर आउटलुक देखने जा रहे हैं और थोड़ी देर के लिए ये जो कोरोना है, मार्केट जो फॉल हुआ है 2-3 दिन से, उसको थोड़ा सा साइड में रखेंगे क्योंकि इससे जस्ट पहले एक वीडियो डाला हुआ हूँ, उसका भी लिंक डाल दूंगा कोरोना के बारे में, उसको देख लीजिएगा। सो इस वीडियो में सिर्फ 2023, 24, 25 का जो टॉप थीम्स है, स्टॉक्स है, उसके बारे में वी विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट एंड most of those inputs have been acquired from the CNBC TV and especially from the Edelweiss analyst Bhattacharya, and whatever data I'm going to share with you, they have all been taken from CNBC TV, guys. Now, 5 very important themes are going to play out, and the number 1 is Capex, financial services, real estate, global market share grabbers, and number 5 is the defense segment. ये सब चीजें हैं, big themes, they are going to emerge and we will be talking in detail about each of that. And slightly, if you see in the last 6 months, the markets have been very buoyant and little bit of volatility can be expected, and we need to keep them on the side, at least for the time being, much like I explained during the start of this video. And we will only be talking about 2023, and all these are going to play out as very strong themes, especially as far as the Indian economy is concerned, and from the next 2, 3, 4 years perspective, the growth story of India is extremely positive. And first we are going to talk about Capex. It's not just the Capex we are talking about, it's going to be a boom. Especially if you look at this Capex announced by private sector companies, it's around 6-7 times as announced by public companies, and in the last 10 years we are seeing it for the first time, and in the next 3 or 4 years this theme is going to play out extremely well, guys. And there are lots and lots of indicators, they are called as lead indicators. They are all playing in favor of a big boom that is coming. And example, if देखेंगे the capacity utilization है 75% से ऊपर चला गया भाई, because that's generally the percentage around which the capex cycle starts. And बाकी जितने भी sectors है, multiple sectors are all firing from all the cylinders जैसे कहते हैं, and they're all emerging very very strongly. And we're not just talking about the next year है 2023, उसके बाद भी 24 है, 25 है, 26 है. जब भी आप एनालिसिस इस तरह की एनालिसिस करते हैं 3 से 4 साल तक करते हैं भाई साहब, लॉन्ग टर्म, मीडियम टर्म टू लॉन्ग टर्म, एंड काफ़ी कैपिटल इंटेंसिव इंडस्ट्रीज है, काफ़ी एनालिस्ट उस पर ओवरवेट है भाई. कैपिटल इंडस्ट्रीज में इसलिए ओवरवेट है क्योंकि कैपेक्स बूम है. जैसे इंडियन में देखेंगे सीमेंस है, लार्सन एंड टूब्रो है, महिंद्रा डिफेंस है, ये सब सेक्टर्स आप देखेंगे दे हैव ऑल स्टार्टेड डूइंग एक्सट्रीमली वेल, एंड देयर इज इनफ रूम फॉर गुड वैल्यूएशंस, रेवेन्यू पोटेंशियल, मार्जिन गाइडेंस. ये सब देखेंगे, इनके अर्निंग्स तो बहुत ही बढ़िया होने वाला है भाई. एंड काम तो कर रहे हैं. ऑल दीज companies are taking up lots and lots of projects, and when the execution starts, when the money starts coming in, things are looking extremely bright, and that's what the analysts are saying, right? And secondly, what we are talking about is the finance sector, because whenever you talk about the finance sector, whenever you talk about capex, पिछला theme तो capex है, because whenever capex is there, there will be demand for credit and credit growth, and whenever there is a good credit growth, there's one sector which will get benefited, which is the financial sector. And more than the private banks, public sector banks are going to do well. But don't look at what has happened in the last 1 or 2 weeks. उनके देखेंगे mobilization of deposit is not a problem at all. Their credit costs are very very low. People don't look at what the share, how it is performing in the share market. They're not bothered. For example, Punjab National Bank, people will close their eyes and put money in Punjab National Bank, right? So deposit mobilization, which is a very important activity of any banking sector, it's going to be very very a cake walk for them as far as the PSUs are concerned, their NPAs have been reduced, the yields committed 10 years back, we're not getting into those reasons, the non-performing assets, all that have been cleared. The banks have started showing extremely good balance sheets, the profitability has increased, the credit growth is going up, the credit costs are going down, overall management, governance, all that is going very well, whether it is MSME loans, SME loans, retail loans, corporate loans, especially PSUs की बात कर रहा हूँ. The banks are doing extremely well and it's going to be very good. Now, third thing we're going to talk about is the real estate, because real estate always follows a 7-year cycle. Specifically, if you look at the unsold inventories, especially as far as the estate owners are concerned, वो कम होता जा रहा है भाई. नई projects शुरू हो रहा है, so the prices will also be high, right? तो whenever आप real estate की बात करेंगे, पहले 1, 2, 3 साल ऐसे ही होगा है, और जब भी ये रियल एस्टेट की बात कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ रियल एस्टेट कंपनीज जैसे गार्डरेज है, प्रेस्टीज है, वो नहीं है. वी आर ऑल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट एंसिलरी प्रोवाइडर्स लाइक बिल्डिंग मटेरियल सप्लायर्स, क्योंकि जनरली ये सप्लायर्स जो है ना, टायर 1, टायर 2, दे हैव बेटर मार्जिन्स कंपेयर टू बिग प्लेयर्स, राइट. The margins are very good. Whether you talk of, for example, ceramic sector, glass है, उसके बाद सीमेंट है, बाकी सारे बिल्डिंग मटेरियल है, JK लक्ष्मी सीमेंट है, बाकी सीमेंट कंपनीज है, स्टील है, टाटा हो, जिंदल हो, because whenever you talk about real estate, all these things come as a package, and typically the alpha that we are going to talk about, that will going to improve. Thirdly, what we are going to talk about is the global market share exports. बहुत ही बढ़िया थीम होने वाला है. काफी टाइम से हम बात कर रहे थे, काफी जियोपॉलिटिक्स है, चाइना यूएस रिलेशनशिप्स में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, and that we have been seeing for the last 7-8 months, right from February onwards. It's the Russia and Ukraine war, and for a long time we have been talking about China plus one. Now, if you look at India, India is being looked at as a destination for investment, not just for the alternative to China. People don't look at India as a low cost supplier. Now it's going to be one of the highest alternatives for China, whether it is IT services, medical sectors, production of API, even chemicals, specialty chemicals. In lot of such sectors, India is being seen as a credible alternative to China. China is quite strong, there's no doubt in that, but India is, if not equal to them, catching up, right? There are lots and lots of suppliers in the country itself with little bit of R&D and little bit of support from the government. Those Indian companies can do extremely well, because we are now, apart from China 1, we are talking of Euro 1. If you look at China for top line growth, for margin growth, you can bank on Europe. The kind of top line opportunities we have in China to bring in those economies of scale, once you bring Europe +1 also into it, दोनों चलता रहेगा, आपके revenues भी ऊपर चढ़ता रहेगा, आपका margins भी ऊपर जाता रहेगा. यूरोप में रिसेशन तो चल रहा है, मगर धीरे धीरे as Europe recovers from the recession, then there will be great opportunities, and that recovery will not just be a cyclical recovery, it will be a structural recovery also, and it will play in India's favor. Lot of companies है, जैसे टाटा केमिकल है, JB केमिकल है, काफी सारे इस तरह के companies है. Yes, in the near term there are supply constraints, etc., because lot of those ingredients, API and all that are coming from China. There are some headwinds too, right, dependence on China, but over a period of time, with the government support and the energy enthusiasm these companies are showing, there is a big scope for improvement. And the next sector we are going to talk about is defense sector. Today it's been announced 82,000 crores has been released by the government, and there are around 100 products, जिसमें भाई 97 products जो है made in India. भाई आत्मनिर्भर के बारे में काफी टाइम से हम बात कर रहे हैं, और इंडिजिनाइजेशन ऑफ डिफेंस की जब बात करेंगे, बहुत बढ़िया, उसमें सिर्फ सप्लायर्स नहीं है उस पर। मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स में मैं IAS IPS एस्पिरेंट्स को सिखाता हूँ, मैक्रो इकोनॉमेट्रिक्स है, उस पर हम सिखाते हैं एक्सेलरेटर इफेक्ट्स है, मल्टीप्लायर इफेक्ट्स के बारे में हम बात करेंगे। उस पर बहुत बढ़िया है, क्योंकि ये सेक्टर है हर साल 20% ग्रो होता रहेगा। और हमारे डिफेंस सेक्टर्स आप देखेंगे, उनके वैल्यूएशंस को कंपेयर करके देखिएगा, ग्लोबल मैन्युफैक्चरर्स लॉकहीड मार्टिन हो, डसॉल्ट एविएशन हो, रेथियान हो, उनको आप देखेंगे मैचिंग है भाई। तो विद इंडियाज ग्रोथ स्टोरी इज वेरी वेरी इंटैक्ट। एंड इफ यू लुक एट इंडियन का डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरर है, शिपयार्ड है, गार्डन रीच है, मैजागन डॉक है, भारत इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स है, लार्सन एंड टूब्रो, महिंद्रा डिफेंस है, उसके बाद आपके काफ़ी सारे इस तरह के, भारत डायनेमिक्स है। All these defense theme is going to extremely play out, and I will be putting up separate videos on each of these themes, and I will be putting up separate on, I've already done one on Mazagon Talks, I've done one on Hindustan Aeronautics. I'm going to will be releasing one video on Mahindra Defense tomorrow. L&T Defense also I will be releasing tomorrow. L&T का भी कवर कर रहा हूँ, नाम तो भूल गया हूँ। दूसरा महिंद्रा डिफेंस का जो शुक्ला साहब है, जो इनके बोर्ड लेवल डायरेक्टर है, उनका भी व्यूज मैं आपको बताने वाला। ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू प्ले आउट एक्सट्रीमली वेल, एंड इंडिया इज गोइंग टू बी द कंट्री ऑफ द नेक्स्ट सेंचुरी। एंड पहले भी मैं शेयर किया हुआ हूँ, इन द नेक्स्ट 5 or 6 years, by 2030 we will be the 3rd largest economy in the world, guys. Okay guys, this is Dr. Sadasivam signing off till we meet again. Bye bye. Jai Hind.